Namaste and Satnam Yogis. I'm Tracy, this is Opal, and this is Yoga Union, where people unite in a quest for wellness of body, mind, and spirit. Whether you're a yoga virgin or a seasoned practitioner, Tracy's Yoga Union has a place for your mat. So let's roll those mats out and get started. Our yoga flow for today is called Spring Cleaning. Yeah, spring is in the air, so we are going to do some spring cleaning, maybe get some of the clutter, the disorganization, get some of the cobwebs out of, again, that body, mind, and spirit. Clean it up, get it ready for springtime. So I invite you to find a nice, strong, steady mountain pose. Your feet are about hip width apart, not locked out at the knees, so just a nice gentle bend in those knees. And then find that spine and lift up out of the hips and make that spine and back nice and straight. Allow those shoulders just to sink down away from the ears. Maybe a pull in of that low belly just a bit. Engage that core. Level out that chin. Start to let that face relax. And if it's comfortable, close those eyes. Springtime is a great time to refocus and reorganize, recommit to some things, renew, rebirth. And we can do that by quieting the mind as often as possible, by moving with intention, and also by focusing on the breath, moving with the breath. All a part of any good yoga practice. So let's start with that breath. We want to inhale and exhale through the nose. And as we inhale, somewhere right around that belly button area, it's where we fill up. We inhale the breath into that area. And as we exhale, we pull that belly button back to the spine. And each inhale and exhale is one round of breath. And so with those intentions on some spring cleaning of body, mind, and spirit, let's start to move a bit with that breath. On an inhale, just allow that right ear to come closer to the right shoulder. And then as we exhale, start to bring the chin to chest. And we finish up that exhale with the left ear and shoulder closer together. Inhale here. And as we exhale, start that half moon roll, dropping the right ear to the right shoulder. Inhale here. Exhale. It's a nice, slow, intentional movement of the neck. Inhale as that ear and shoulder on the left side connect. Exhale. As we start to bring that ear over to the right shoulder. to center. We'll just move those shoulders a bit. So on an inhale, shrug them up. Exhale, drop them down. Inhale, shrug them up. Exhale, drop them down. Couple more. Now we'll open up that upper back and work with those shoulders a bit more. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see my arms a bit better. I'm going to lift those arms halfway up. We're going to bring the right arm over the left. We're going to bend those elbows in, and if you can bring your palms together, great. These are eagle arms. And you might already start to feel a nice stretch in that upper back. We can increase that by lifting up through the elbows and at the same time pushing out through those elbows. And then if it's okay for the neck, you might start to lower the chin towards the chest. Remembering that breath cycle, inhaling and exhaling through the nose, all into that low belly. And that inhale can lift our chin and let us unwind. And we'll move that to the other side, our other arm. So arms back out in front, left over right this time. Bending the elbows, bringing the palms together if you can. And then we do some tweaks here. We lift up through the elbows and push out. And then if you like, you can start to lower that chin to chest. Remembering to breathe as we hold these eagle arms. Inhale, lift up and unwind and release it out. We'll stretch out the sides of the body a little bit. Since Opal moves sides, we'll stretch out our side as well. So we'll start by inhaling that right arm up and over beside our ear. And as we exhale, just lean over. Keep leaning with the stretch of that arm. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale it down. Inhale that left arm as we continue that stretch on over. Exhale, release it down. Inhale that right arm up next to the ear and then bring that nice stretch in the right side of the body. Exhale that right arm down. Inhale the left arm up. Nice stretch through the left side of the body. One more on each side. Moving with the breath, keeping the front of the body facing the front of that mat, wherever your toes are pointing. Keep the front of the body, the hips in that same direction. Exhale that arm down. Now just a little work with the legs, stretch those out and our ankles a bit. So we'll start by finding that mountain again, feeling steady on both feet. And then we're going to bring some more awareness into that left leg. Just start to bend into that right knee. Balancing on the left leg, hopefully. We'll just gently hug that right knee into our chest. Or at least just start there. Hug it into our belly maybe. And then do some rolls of that right ankle in one direction and then the other. Then we'll start to sit that down. Bend into the left knee. Really shoot the hips back. And then we'll point and flex through those right toes. Step that right foot in, bring it on up, and we'll do that little sequence on the other side. So finding that mountain first. Whenever we're gonna balance, we wanna start in the mountain so we feel strong and steady. Prior to that balance, bring more awareness into that right leg. Bend in that right knee and hug it in around the belly there. And just do some gentle rolls of the left ankle in one direction. Change that direction. And then we start to unbend in one knee and bend in the other as we shoot our hips back. Nice stretch back here now. And we'll point and flex in the left toes. A little help from Opal here. Thank you, Opal. Help my balance out. Step that left foot in. Bring it on up. We're going to step a little wider. You can move to the front of your mat if you'd like, to the short edge. If you're going to do that, you want to step your feet about as wide as the shorter portion of the mat. I'm going to stay forward so we can see that here. So pretty wide stance. And then we're going to turn the toes out because we want our knees to follow the direction of our toes. Do a little yogi squat here. So inhale those arms up. Exhale as you start to bring those palms to heart center. Also start to bend and come in and find that yogi squat. So notice how your toes and knees are lining up. You're trying to tilt that pelvis down. Tilt the bottom down. Palms are around heart center. Knees can be pushed out a bit by your elbows there. Release those hands down. Start to unbend those knees. Maybe heel toe those feet in. Finding a nice forward fold here. And just let that body hang and be heavy. You can grab onto opposite elbows and sway a bit from side to side. And on your next inhale, start to roll up, just nice and slow. It might also feel good to drag the fingertips up the front of the legs. And if you're not at the front of your mat, let's move to the front of that mat, the short edge. Gonna get ready for a couple of sun salutations. Continue warming it up a bit. And we'll do a modified sun. A sun without the plank, but from our knees down to Cobra, and then a full plank to Cobra. Before we move into our standing postures and really get into that spring cleaning here. All right, modified sun salutation. Inhale those arms up, overhead, stretch up, look up. As you exhale, start to bring those palms together through to heart center. And when they're at heart center, you can hinge and fold forward. Just hang here this time. On your inhale, come halfway up with a nice straight flat back, palms resting on the shins. Exhale, find that full forward fold again. On an inhale, sweep those arms out, up, stretch up, look up. Exhale, palms through to heart center. Keep that flow going. Inhale, those arms up overhead. Stretch up, look up. Exhale, bring palms through to heart center. Hinge and fold forward. Inhale's our halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold again. Now we step one foot back, then the other. Here's our plank. For our Cobra, let's put those knees down first, tops of the feet, then lower the rest of the body down to the mat to prepare for our Cobra. Bring those palms by your sides here, elbows pushing back, forehead on the mat, tops of the feet on the mat. And on an inhale, start to lift head, neck, chest, and shoulders into our Cobra. From Cobra, tuck your toes, push back into our dog, and then start to walk those feet on up to the hands. Inhale's that halfway lift. Exhale, sink and fold. Inhale, arms out, up, overhead, look up, stretch up. Exhale, bring those palms through to heart center. One more, inhale, lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Stepping back into our plank. Now from plank, lower all the way down to prepare for Cobra. Inhale, head, neck, chest, shoulders into Cobra. From Cobra, tuck your toes. Find that downward dog. And we'll begin our first flow from our downward dog. So on an inhale, lift that right leg up to find our three-legged dog. On an exhale, swing that right foot through. Get a nice bend in that right knee. Our back leg is straight. Our toes are slightly angled in. We're going to inhale those arms up overhead. Arrow straight arms here for our warrior one. Holding this warrior for a few rounds of breath here. Lining up bent knee and ankle. Keeping the front of the body facing that bent right knee. Fingertips up to the sky, but letting those shoulders melt down from the ears. Exhale, sweep those arms behind your back and interlace your fingers. We're going to start to hinge forward, keeping that right knee bent. We're going to let the body come beside that right knee, not resting on it. For humble warrior, your arms can stay resting on the back, or you can arc them up and over for a little shoulder work there. Staying in humble warrior, release your hands down to frame that front foot. Maybe a little step in of that back leg as we straighten the front knee to find our pyramid pose. Your hands in pyramid pose can stay on either side of the front foot. They could come up to rest somewhere on the shin. The back can be straight. It can be resting on that straight right leg. Our main goal here is to try and keep both hip points facing down towards the mat. Now bring a bend back into that right knee to find our warrior one again. Straighten that knee. Might need to slide that back foot out a bit. We're going to open up to the long edge of the mat. Bring the bend back into that right knee. Arms are teed out. Maybe a little tilt of the hips there. And we turn to look over the fingertips of the bent knee for our warrior two. We're going to move this warrior two as we inhale, we'll straighten that knee and lift those fingertips up to the sky. We can even look up. As we exhale, we sink back down into that warrior two. Inhale, lifts everything up. Exhale, back to that warrior two. Inhales our lift. Exhale, find that warrior. Now from warrior, we'll move to our extended side angle with the knee bent. Bend the right elbow, place that on the knee, and then arc that top arm over, making the fingertips and the back leg kind of an extension of one another. And then we're going to flow this extended side angle as well. So on an inhale, we're going to keep the knee bent, but we're going to reverse the warrior. Exhale, find that extended side angle. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, reverse the warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. And from the extended side angle, let's change the position of our fingertips first so that the fingertips on top are now pointing to the sky. Unbend the bent knee. Then you can place the right hand on the mat, on your shin. And here we find our triangle pose. And here we're trying to create space in between the shoulder blades, keeping the front of the body here open to the long edge of the mat that we're facing with our hips. To release, we'll look down at those front toes, cartwheel those arms, step that right foot back. Here's our plank. Let's just sit those knees down, widen the stance of those knees, bring our toes together. Oh, push back for a little release in child's pose here. Allow those wrists to rest a bit. And the back to release. From this wide-legged child's pose, just push back up again into tabletop. Maybe walk those hands out of handprint. Straighten up those knees. Hey, Opal. Push back into your downward dog. Downward dog, Opal. Come on down. There you go. Good girl. Come on, Opal. Yes, Opal wants a little yoga action. Good girl. Hey, girl. So maybe stretch out a bit in that downward dog while Opal gets some love. Good girl. And we'll prepare to do that flow on the other side. Come on, Opal. Come on, Opal. Here we go. You ready? All right. Good girl. All right. Left side. So inhale the left leg up to find our three-legged dog. Exhale, swing it on through. Nice bend in that left knee. Right leg is straight with those toes slightly angled in. And then we want to shift those hips so they're facing that bent knee. And then reach up through arrow straight arms. Let those shoulders melt away from the ears. And really try and pull in on the legs, and that'll allow you to maybe not have too much bend in that low back there. We'll exhale, sweep those arms behind our back. Start to hinge forward, letting that body rest beside that bent knee, not on top of that bent leg. For our humble warrior, arms arcing over or resting on the back. And then we'll frame that front foot with our hands, maybe step the back toes in a bit, straighten that front leg, finding our pyramid pose here from that humble warrior. And so I just made a nice adjustment there, and that hip on the right side there was pointing up. So bring that hip so that both hip points are down. Again, back can round. Fingertips by the feet, on the shin or ankle. Make it work for you. Frame that foot. Bring that bend back in. Lift up for just a second here back into that warrior one. Straighten out that bent knee so that we can open up first. Maybe readjust that back leg there. Readjust so we've got a nice stance here. Positioning ourselves to face the long edge of the mat, teeing out those arms. Now we bring the bend into that left knee and look out over the fingertips of that left knee for our warrior two. And we'll move this warrior. So on an inhale, we straighten the knee and lift up, look up through those fingertips. Exhale, sink back down into that warrior. Inhale, lift. Exhale, sink. Inhale, lift. Exhale, find that warrior two. Now we'll turn that warrior two into our extended side angle. Knee stays bent, left elbow on that knee, fingertips reaching over. Again, we're going to move this into our reverse warrior, keeping the knee bent. So on an inhale, we'll reverse the warrior. Exhale, find that side angle. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, side angle. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, side angle. Lifting up those top fingertips, straightening out the knee. Finding a place to put the fingertips and hand of the left hand there. And here we've got our triangle. So open that body up. Stretch up through those fingertips. Create some space between those shoulder blades. Look down at those toes, cartwheel those hands down, frame that front foot, step the left toes back to find our plank. From plank, let's come down to all fours. Line up your knees and your hips here, our wrists and our shoulders. And let's move that spine for a little cat-cow here. So on an inhale, we'll lift the chin and let that low belly drop. Exhale, tuck that chin and round that mid back Inhale, lift and round. Exhale, tuck. Tucking the chin and rounding up. Inhale, lifting the chin and letting the belly drop. Exhaling as we kind of bring things in together there. And then we'll bring it back to neutral. Walk those hands out about a handprint. Tuck those toes. Push up into your downward dog. Walk your feet up to your hands. Inhale, we'll find our halfway lift. Exhale, let's sink and fold. Inhale, arms out, up, lift, look up, stretch up. Exhale, bring those palms back through to heart center. So from our standing postures, we'll move into some balance. And we'll balance from right to left. That way we keep the strength balanced from right to left as we move in these postures. You could also flow your balance postures all on one leg from one to the other. But let's go from side to side today. I think that sounds better for my balance. And of course, we start our balance first by finding that strong, steady mountain pose. And then we'll begin to bring some more weight into the left leg. Maybe bring those palms to heart center. And as we do so, we're going to bring a bend into that right knee. And we want the knee and the hip maybe to be in alignment here. And once you find that, you are in your one-legged mountain pose. Remember that breath cycle of an inhale and exhale through the nose, filling up that low belly, and then bringing that belly button back to the spine. On that exhale, release palms and leg down. Shake her out a bit. Mountain for a quick breath, and then bring more awareness to that right leg. As we inhale and bring palms to heart center. Start to bring that lift and bend into the left knee and hip. Trying to make a nice straight line there, keeping the spine straight as well. Next exhale, nice controlled release down from that balance, we hope. Finding that mountain again for a quick breath. Before we move into the classic tree pose. So more awareness into the left leg. Maybe start by bringing those palms to heart center. Now as we bend into that right knee, we're going to move that bend to the side. So pointing out to the side. Depending on your balance, mine doesn't seem to be as good on this side. You could keep the toes right there on the ground by the ankle. You could bring them up at the calf or above the knee. And then really squeeze in through here. So you're pushing the left leg into the right sole. Palms can stay at heart center or grow the branches of your tree. And on an exhale, release, shake it out. find that mountain. Bring that awareness into the right leg. Inhale, palms to heart center. As we bend the left knee out to the side. Finding the right foot position there. And then pushing right leg into the sole of that left foot. Also finding a posture for the arms that works for your balance on this side. Exhale, release it down. One last balance, just our classic dancer pose. Turn to the side so you can see a little bit of that. Finding that mountain first, to feel the stability, to feel that strength we have when we are grounded on 2 feet. Gonna lift up through the left arm, fingertips pointing to the sky. Then we're gonna bend that right knee, bringing the right fingertips into our right hand. We want to keep those knees close together, standing and bent knee. It's our classic dancer pose. Exhale, that nice, on this side anyway, controlled release down. And let's wrap up our balance with our dancer on this side. Mountain. Lifting up through the right fingertips. Bending into that left knee. Placing those left toes into the left hand. Dancer pose. Exhale, lets us release. We'll come to the front of the mat. Since I'm facing this side, I'll come to this side of the mat. We'll just do a modified sun to come down to our bellies. Do a quick round of modified boat and then the full expression of that posture. We've already done several cobras, so that one backward bending posture should be enough for this practice to at least kickstart that spring cleaning. So inhale those arms up overhead. Exhale, bring those palms through to heart center as you hinge and fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Step one foot back, and then the other. Find your plank here. And then from plank, you can lower all the way down to your belly. Once we're on our bellies, we're going to keep the tops of our feet flat on the mat, forehead on the mat. But we're going to extend our arms out overhead. The palms of our hands are going to be facing but not touching. So starting with modified boat. So on an inhale, we're going to start to lift head, neck, chest, and shoulders and swim that right arm back down by our side. The legs are still on the mat. The right arm is at the side of your right leg there. And the left hand is still stretched out, resting on the floor. That next exhale, swim that arm forward and start to lower head, neck, chest, that forehead resting on the mat. Now let's do the other arm. So on an inhale, begin to swim that left arm back and lift head, neck, chest, and shoulders. Next, exhale, swim that arm forward, release, rest that forehead on the mat. And now we'll do the full expression of the boat. So this will lift head, neck, chest, shoulders, arms, and legs. And on our lift, we'll keep our arms out front, but we will move through different arm positions. So on that next inhale, begin to lift everything up. Here's our full boat. Now bring those arms to a T. Keep everything lifted. Now swim those arms down by your side. And on an exhale, with release and control of that release, lower down, turn your head to one side. Let everything just go loose, no tension anywhere. And just to completely release that neck, turn your head so you're resting on the other ear. So letting that body be tension free. Bring that forehead back to the mat. Tuck those toes, bring your hands in by your sides, just to push us up. And we'll find a seated position. We're going to have our legs straight out in front of us. Beginning to find our staff pose here. And so for that staff pose, the legs are really engaged. The toes facing up, back is straight. Arms are at your sides, but they're not holding or pushing you up. So you should have a slight bend, most likely, in those elbows. So really the arms are just at your sides for a place to be. And if you hold this staff pose for any given amount of time, it really gives you a nice core workout. Always focusing on that straight spine and level chin, allowing those shoulders to melt down from the ears. And so keeping that left leg engaged and the spine straight, we'll bend that right knee in and let it drop out to the side. Inhale those arms up overhead. Exhale, just start to hinge and fold forward. Eventually, it's okay to let the back round and to let that head drop as well. It's a little seated forward fold here. It's also good to imagine that on the exhale, you're sinking just a little bit deeper into that fold. Now to release, let's first stretch out through those fingertips. And on an inhale with a straight back, lift on up. Exhale, release those hands down. Straighten out that right leg and let's find that staff pose again. Imagine that the backs of your legs are touching completely the floor there. And then make that happen. Maintaining that hold of the right leg, everything touching the back of the floor. We'll bend in that right knee. Inhale those arms up. As we exhale, hinge and fold forward on this side. Knowing that it's okay to eventually let the back round and that head to drop. And also, once again, letting that exhale allow you to just sink a little bit deeper into the forward fold. Our release is first stretching out through those fingertips, using that inhale to lift up with a nice straight back. Exhale those legs down. Straighten out, and I'm going to turn my legs so my feet are facing the short edge of the mat now. So if yours weren't, you might want to do that. We'll find that staff pose just for a breath or two more. Now from our staff pose, we're going to use some control here, right? And not our hands, but we're going to, a little vertebra at a time, come back onto our backs. And once we're on our backs, we're going to bend those knees. I'm going to scooch down on my mat a bit here. Bend those knees. We're going to prepare for bridge. So we want the heels to be as close to our bottom as we can. Sometimes it's a good idea to tilt that chin towards the chest a bit. Our arms can be tied in at our sides with palms down or up. Doesn't matter there. Keep those knees close together. And on our inhale, we're going to start to tilt the hips up. And then we begin to roll the low back, the mid back off the mat. We can then bring our shoulders underneath if we'd like. Give us a little boost, clasp those fingertips. That bridge usually ends somewhere about at the bottom of our shoulder blades. And then what we want to do here, a few tweaks. We want to push into the heels and also start to push the hips up. But keep those knees close together. Don't turn that chin at all from side to side. Just keep it right there in the center of your chest. Get some nice deep inhales into the belly here in the bridge. Now on your next exhale, very slow. Again, one vertebra at a time. Bring that back down to the mat. Then we're going to step the feet wide to the outer edge there of the mat. Going to drop both knees over. Let's start to the left side. We're going to sit the left heel on top of the right leg. And then we're going to sit that right or left hand rather on our belly here. Then lift up and overhead with the right arm. And then turn the head to look away from the knees. Great figure four twist. Winding and slowing everything down here. And so maybe reflect on Our intention of spring cleaning, decluttering, getting some of the cobwebs out of body, mind, and spirit with some intentional movement, a quiet mind, and a focus on that breath. Inhale and release everything in that twist. Feet wide again, knees bent. Realign things there, and then drop the knees over to the right. Sit that right ankle on top of the left. Right hand on the belly. Left arm up overhead, and then turn to look in the opposite direction of the knee. Use an inhale to release everything. And then it might be a good idea, hug those knees into the chest. Rocking a bit from side to side. And then start to draw some big circles with those knees. And reversing the direction of your knee circles. Oh, before taking up some space on that mat in our final relaxation. So legs apart, a comfortable distance. Arms at your side, a comfortable distance from there with the palms facing up. You don't have to hold on to any tension there or anywhere. So let the feet drop open. Let the fingers do what they would naturally do. Let the face relax and the eyes close. Quiet body, quiet mind. Savasana. And I invite you to stay in your Shavasana for as long as the mind is conscious and quiet and the body is still. When it's time for you to release, I like to bring palms and soles of my feet together and just rub those to create some heat and some friction. And then do that little rock and roll on the spine, finding our seated position here. Bringing those palms to heart center. Namaste and thank you from me and from Opal. Happy spring, happy yoga, peace.